The fertilizer brand, the label, the schedule that you use doesn't matter nearly as much as what your soil is actually missing. Welcome to my garden friend. I am Katrina with Homegrown Florida. If you're new here, we're going to talk all about fertilizers, amendments, which ones are the best ones to use, why you shouldn't just blanket your garden in fertilizer, and what is actually the right way to do this so that you're not spending as much and you're not kind of damaging your garden. Now, I know all this because I made the terrible mistake of just blanketing my garden in fertilizer. When I first put in my beds, I had used like a wood mulch, which I still think is like the #1 way to fill a bed for very inexpensive. If you want to see that video, I'll put it at the end here down in the description. And it's really like a really effective way of filling a raised bed for very, very cheap, and you end up with amazing soil. But that first year, it is really tough because it's hard to keep these plants fed. And so the way that I was feeding them was with fertilizer, which is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I think where I messed up was even after the bed's soil was mature and it was, you know, holding on to the nutrients better than that first year, I was still kind of using the same principles of that amount of fertilizer and the types of fertilizers I was using. And I kept that up for like a few years, 2 or 3 years, just basically putting down granular fertilizer every time I transplanted a seedling. And then putting down liquid fertilizer, the organic fish emulsion type fertilizers, every like week or two. And I was like, I got really great plants. They were very, very productive. The problem started to occur about year 2 to 3. And at the 3rd year mark, it was really, really evident that something was wrong. And at first, what I noticed was my plants were a little sluggish. They had leaf discolorations, like there was a nutrient issue. And I just couldn't in my mind think, I was like, how is this happening? Because I am using fertilizer. I am using the best ones, right? The most expensive, the ones with the proper labeling and the NPKs. I'm following like a perfect schedule that I have on my phone, monthly for the granular, week to 2 weeks on the liquid. Like, why is this happening? And for me, I thought, oh, I just got to be a little more heavy-handed. So I just kept adding a little bit more and adding a little bit more. You guys, wrong decision, wrong decision. So after having an entire shelf up here of like a million different organic fertilizers, because I was like, you know, maybe it's the brand, maybe it's the NPKs, maybe it's all these things. And I had literally all of them up here. If you go back and look at my old shed videos, you'll see them all. And I still have some, but I've drastically reduced because I was kind of like, maybe it's certain ones work better than others. Nope, that's actually, I learned they're all pretty much the same, right? I just couldn't shake the issues. So I finally was like, you know what? I'm gonna do my first ever soil test. This was a few years ago. And so I got, Epic Gardening was selling a soil test at that time. I got theirs. I ended up doing the Epic test, realized that my problem was not fertilizer. My problem was over-fertilization. Yes, I had actually caused an over-fertilization with an organic fertilizer. That, my friend, is I take it as a compliment because, man, that's hard to do. I over-fertilized on potassium and phosphorus to a degree that it was hurting my plants. And I laugh about it now, right? Because I've corrected the issue. But at the time I was like, oh my gosh, I'm contributing to red tide, because that's another situation, right? Not only is it bad for my plants, but because of the aquifers that we have here and the way that the runoff happens, that excessive phosphorus and potassium is nitrogen as well. It's like some of the worst things that you can do here in Florida. And yeah, so I learned my lesson very, very quickly. When all my numbers came back with excess, the micronutrients came back with excess, the macronutrients like the NPK all came back with excess. And I was totally bummed out that I had made such a rookie mistake. So I told myself, I'm not gonna put a single bit of fertilizer in my garden. I went from what I was doing, crazy amounts of fertilizer, to absolutely no fertilizer for an entire year, and I stuck to that. The only time that you saw me use fertilizer during that 1 year time frame was strictly to show you on a video, and I tried my best to do it in containers as much as possible, but sometimes there has to be instruction, so I did it out in the garden, and then I would kind of scoop it up after the video to try to get rid of it, because I was like, I didn't want to do it anymore. And I did notice a slight improvement in my plants. I did notice that. And they weren't like excessively happy because they do kind of have to use up all that excess. I was planting tons of cover crops to try to use up the excess. I was pulling the roots of my plants out of the ground to remove more of the excess. I didn't used to do that. I'd always use that as like a mulch or leave the roots in the ground to decompose, but I couldn't really allow that this time. I needed to pull it all out, put it in compost bins. And so I did that for a solid year, and I came back to do the test. I couldn't do the Epic anymore because I don't think they're selling them anymore. So I switched over to the extension office and My Soil. I ended up doing 2 of them because I got differing results. That's a whole nother video. But this time, my phosphorus was still a little high, but not nearly as much as it was. My nitrogen was low, score, and my potassium was completely low. So everything I had done to reduce that, including not using fertilizer for an entire year, ended up resetting everything with the exception of the phosphorus. You know, that was still a tiny bit high, not so high that I felt terrible anymore, but you know, high enough that it doesn't damage the plants, but it's not causing runoff, but it's still a little on the high side. So I'm like, okay, cool. That means I need to boost up my potassium a little bit, and I need to boost up my nitrogen. So what do I use for that? I'm going to tell you all of that in a minute, which is like what I use for every different micronutrient or macronutrient. But what I kind of did was just focused on what needed those 2 nutrients. So I laid, you know, my nitrogen source and my potassium source down, and my plants, guys, my plants responded amazing. They were so happy. I had the most productive tomato year I've ever had. And I could sleep well at night knowing I wasn't, you know, poisoning our waterway. So let me tell you what I use for different things, just so that you know. So the first one is NPK. Let's go over that. Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. You're gonna see it on this box. It usually shows up as a number, like a 1200. The first number is nitrogen, phosphorus, and then potassium. And so for nitrogen, when my soil test tells me I need nitrogen, I use blood meal. Now, Down to Earth is one, Espima has one. Sometimes I buy them where it's just like non-brand name at all. They all work the same, guys. It's all exactly the same. There's no reason to spend your money on a brand name or a label. If you want to do the ones I have here, I'll put them in the description, but what I do is I look for blood meal, and then I look for which one's on sale, has the lowest price per ounce is what I look for. That's how I buy now. The next one is going to be phosphorus. I have not needed this for years. It's still been sitting in my shed because it doesn't go bad. I use bone meal. Now this one has it says it on the side here, 4-12-0. I can't get it without nitrogen. There is some bone meals that do come without some nitrogen or only like a 1, but it gives you the middle number of 12, which is what we're looking for on a heavy phosphorus. So if you want phosphorus, you're going to use that. And the last one of our NPK is going to be kelp meal. I don't have my other bag here, which is potash. So it depends on how bad your nutrients are. So this one, kelp meal, has an NPK, not very big here, 102. Kelp meal is good for if your potassium is just a tiny bit low, right on the end, or you're starting to drift towards the negative, or towards the lower end of the normal range, you'll use this. Now, if you had the issue that I had where my potassium was really low, I mean almost midway through the range of low instead of adequate, then I used potash. That, I can't remember what the NPK is, but it's something really big, like 0036, I think is what it is. I'll put it right here. But that potash boosts it quickly. But whenever you're going to use one of these, you want to use them slowly. Don't take the full amount that it says to put in and put it across all your beds. You want to spread this out a little bit, right? Go slow. Take your time. So with the potash, I put some down, half of what it told me to use. And then 6 to 8 weeks later, I put down the second one. In between the 6 to 8 weeks, I was using nothing. The entire year, I did 2 treatments of blood meal, 2 treatments of potash. I've done nothing else. I have not used any liquid fertilizer. I have not used any of my granular, which I'm going to show you in just a minute. I've not used any of that stuff. None of it. I've only used the 2 things that are necessary to get my soil test proper. Now, if you didn't screw up as bad as I do and you get your soil test back and it's just showing that things are starting to get a little bit low, then you can use an all-purpose fertilizer. And this is where they actually shine. They do a great job of balancing out what you need from an NPK perspective. So the first one I like is going to be don't focus on the brand. This is Tomatoes Espuma, Tomato Tone, but it doesn't have to be this one. What you're looking for is NPKs or bloom fertilizers or tomato fertilizers, that kind of stuff. And this one is 3, 4, 6. It's almost even. It's very hard to find completely even in an organic world. In synthetic worlds, you can find 10, 10, 10 or 20, 20, 20 like Jack's. And I think those work great if you are into synthetics. But if you're into organic gardening, which I know a lot of my viewers are, I go for something like this. Once again, Dr. Earth makes one like this. Down to Earth makes one like this. Just look for bloom, tomato, or all-purpose. Now another one, if you have a larger garden and you don't want to have to pay for these really small bags, I highly recommend this guy right here. Oh, 432 Nutri-Rich. Oh, that one's heavy. I buy this. It has the calcium and the magnesium needed for growing fruiting crops like tomatoes and peppers, which is really cool. It keeps you from having blossom end rot. The NPK is good. It's technically dehydrated chicken manure is basically what this is. I get this big bag from Azure Standard. I bought this like 2 or 3 years ago. I don't even know how long. It's been so long because I bought this before I had the issue and I haven't really used a lot of it. I don't even have this bag open. I've ended up buying 2 bags. I've gone through 1 bag in like potted plants and stuff like that. I haven't used it in the garden in a while. But this one is really good if you have a large amount that you need to cover. Azure does have some additional costs that you want to consider, right? They have like it's not shipping because you go and you pick it up someplace, but it's like transportation costs. But if you want, pick up a few of these bags. They're very inexpensive for the size and quantity of fertilizer that you're getting. I think I paid like $20 to $25 for this entire bag. It was a few years ago. I don't know what a current rate is. And Azure, you do have to like do some weird like pickup style thing instead of like it being delivered to your house. So there's those things to consider. But if you can find something that is organic, that is an even set of NPK numbers and has some calcium and magnesium in it so that you don't get blossom end rot, those are all good choices for an all-purpose fertilizer. Now, there is a ton of other ways that you can feed your soil besides buying fertilizer. And those are going to be things like compost, which I highly, highly recommend, guys. If you're not doing compost, give it a shot. Get a tumbler, open pile, whatever works, right? There's like a million ways to do it for different levels of how much you want to pay, from $0 all the way up to like $500. Like there is different ways that you can do compost, but compost is the one thing that really adds a lot of those micronutrients to the garden. There are other things, like I've used Whitwam Organics micronutrients, and I think that those are really, really good. And whenever I get my soil test back, if I have a nitrogen or a micronutrient, that's going to be things like the calcium, boron, zinc. If those show a little low, I'll just go through and spray the soil with the Whitwam Organics, or I just add a layer of about 1 to 2 inches of compost and it resolves it. That's number one easiest way. If you're not into compost, maybe you don't have the space, then you could go with mulches, organic mulches. That's going to be things like grass clippings, leaf litter, which is dead leaves that have fallen during the fall. You can use wood chips, but not like rubber wood chips, not like the ones that are dyed, but actual natural wood chips. They do sell them in the store. There is one that Miracle Grow puts out now that's an organic mulch. That one actually is pretty good. I like it. There's pine bark nuggets. There is cedar mulch. There's like different kinds of mulches. Look for the natural stuff. You can also get a chip drop with maybe you and your neighbors. Chip drop is a lot. You could, if you see somebody getting their trees cut and there's a wood chipper out front with the company that's doing it, you could ask them to just drop that on your driveway before they leave. And usually they're very, very happy to do that. Calling local tree companies, going to your county's extension office or just your county's waste management service, like the dump, they sometimes give away compost and wood chips for free. Mine does both for free. And I have looked across a lot of the different counties in Florida, and probably about 75% of them that I have looked up have given away free wood chips at the very least. So those are great ways to feed. And then the other way that's a really natural way to feed is cover cropping. I don't know why I didn't get into cover cropping earlier in my days of gardening, because that would have saved me a lot of things. If you can't really get your hands on mulches and you maybe don't have a space for compost, maybe you have a small garden area, cover crop. You're going to get mulch from your cover crop. The plants become mulch. They're going to push nutrients down into the soil. They're going to cover the soil during the times that we don't want to grow. Like here in Florida, we don't want to grow during the summer. And maybe you're more north of here and you don't fall garden. That's a great time to lay a cover crop down. Cover crops are amazing. It's really something that I wish I would have gotten into much sooner. And they just do awesome. If my favorite cover crop, just as a little side note here, is going to be sun hemp. Absolutely love sun hemp. Peanuts are pretty good too. Both of them make great mulch. Sun hemp is like amazing in terms of mulch because you can like cut it throughout the season and let it just keep growing, and it just constantly creates mulch. It's like the easiest way to get mulch. So from 3 years ago to now, I went from spending a lot of money on organic fertilizers, all the different brands, testing them all out to see whose is better. None of them are better. To spending a lot of my time in the garden, putting these down, putting the liquid fertilizer down every other week, just spending way too much time on that. Unfortunately, possibly contributing to the red tide bloom here in Florida from my overuse of fertilizer. My pocket was just really empty from spending money on these fertilizers. And then my plants didn't even do well. Like all of that. And at the end of the day, my plants didn't do well. I went from that, I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago, to now I put down amendments twice a year. I don't do it in between. I don't mess with it. I do my soil test once a year. I spend significantly less money. That bag of blood meal and that bag of kelp meal that you saw is going to last me a year or two. Like, it's wild how much money I save. It's crazy the amount of time I save. I don't have to worry about negatively impacting the environment, and my plants have never been happier. These are some of the best years I'm getting out of my plants, all because I took a step back. I stopped dumping fertilizer indiscriminately into my garden. I took the time to do a soil test. I know it sounds scary. I did a whole video on soil testing, so make sure to check that one out. I'll put it below. But it takes all the fear out of it. It's not overwhelming. They'll deliver the package to your house. You'll scoop up some soil, put it in a little container, and to drop it in the mailbox. They'll mail it back, and then like in a couple days, you're going to get like a test that's going to tell you exactly what to do. It's so easy. Like, do that, and you're going to just, your garden's going to thrive. It's going to be so much better. I wish I would have known this many, many years ago when I first started my channel, because I kind of feel bad now that there are people out there that I was like, oh, just add more fertilizer, just add more fertilizer. And now I'm like, not my best advice, but I reserve the right to wake up smarter. I am allowed to change my mind. And so that's what I did. And now I have learned it's less about blanketing your garden with all-purpose fertilizer, more about seeing what your plants actually need. And labels and brands and schedules do not matter. What matters is what the soil actually needs. And that's how you figure it out. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Happy gardening.